Hey everyone, Citi just announced that they are closing their mid-tier travel credit card, the Citi Premier card, to new applicants. A few months back, they closed their high-tier travel card, the Citi Prestige card, to new applicants. But the difference is this time, it looks like they're almost immediately launching a replacement card called the Citi Strata Premier card or the Citi Strata card. And so what we're gonna do in this video is look at the new Citi Strata card and we're going to compare it to the Citi Premier card to see whether or not it's actually an upgrade. Because whenever there's a rebranding of a credit card like a Citi Premier card, one of the big credit card issuers rebranding one of their big cards, right? It's bound to get a lot of hype. So the question we have to ask ourselves is that hype really warranted? For some background here, while the Citi Premier card is Citi's mid-tier travel credit card, it's not one of the first mid-tier travel cards you'd recommend to someone looking for that type of card, right? You'd first look at the Chase Sapphire Preferred for them because of how easy the credits are to use. You'd look at something like the Capital One Venture X and even the new Wells Fargo Autograph Journey card well before you decide to recommend the Citi Premier card. So it makes sense at face value why Citi would try to revamp this card and make it more competitive, or at least replace it with a more competitive card. So in order to evaluate this new Citi Strata card against the existing Citi Premier card, we're going to go through the 5 main categories of any credit card and compare them one to another to see which is going to be best in each different category. And then we'll be able to tell if this is really an upgrade or if they're just taking someone else's homework and changing up the words a little bit in order to offer a new product with a new name for a new hype cycle without really improving the product all that much. And those 5 categories that we're going to judge these cards by are the sign-up bonus, which is the amount of extra points or cash back that you get once you hit a certain threshold of spend in your first several months of holding a card. We're going to talk about the annual fee, which is the amount you have to pay every year just to get access to the card. We're going to look at the multipliers, which is the amount you get back when you spend on any given category. And then we're going to talk about the benefits, which are any benefits that aren't related to the multipliers or sign-up bonus, extra perks that come with the card. And lastly, we're going to talk about what we love to talk about on this channel, which is issuer rules. And what that means is every credit card issuer has their own rules about who is eligible for each card and who's eligible for the sign-up bonus for each card. And you want to make sure if you're applying for a card that you can actually benefit from everything the card has to offer, which is what makes those so important. But if you don't want to keep track of all of these different ways that you can measure a card by to try and figure out which cards are actually right for you when there are thousands of cards out there, then in my day job, we're actually building this app where you can answer a few quick questions about your preferences. You connect your existing credit and debit cards so we can analyze your spending and mathematically tell you what the best credit card for you is today. And we take into account all of the issuer rules, all of the sign-up bonuses, all of the multipliers, all of the other benefits that go into a card. And we also take into account when you should actually get cards based on the strategy you'd like to pursue. So we're not just giving you a one-time card recommendation, we're literally guiding you on a credit card journey so that you can get just as many points as credit card enthusiasts like to get, but without having to put in the legwork to actually learn about every single credit card there is on the market. And so if you want early access to the app that we're building, we're going to launch it in the next few weeks to the earliest waitlist signups. And you can join that waitlist on getpointwise.com. And I don't ask for anything for you to watch and enjoy these videos, except that if that interests you, can you please go and sign up for the waitlist, and it would mean the world to me. So now to get back to our video, when it comes to the sign-up bonus, the Citi Premier card usually gave you a 60,000 point sign-up bonus, and you would earn these points as Citi Thank You points, which is the same points currency that the Citi Strata card is going to earn you. So that's the same, but it gave you 60,000 Citi Thank You points after spending $4,000 or more in 3 months of owning the card. Now that's decent. That's not a bad sign-up bonus. It's actually pretty good. When you redeem that through travel with Citi's travel partners, it's worth around $960. So that's actually a very solid redemption. However, the Citi Strata card offers you 75,000 points if you spend the same $4,000 within 3 months of opening the card, and that could be worth up to $1,200 or more in travel when redeemed with Citi's transfer partners. So when it comes to the sign-up bonus, this one's pretty obvious. The new Citi Strata card is actually a much better deal. You're getting 25% more points with the sign-up bonus, 75,000 instead of 60,000. So here you have 1 point for the Citi Strata card, 0 points for the Citi Premier card. On to the annual fee. The annual fee for both of these cards is $95 a year. So obviously it's more than nothing. It's not a no annual fee card, but whether or not this $95 annual fee makes sense for you totally depends on what you're getting in return for it. Obviously, if you're just getting this card for the sign-up bonus, it makes sense right away to pay the $95 annual fee because the sign-up bonus is worth way more than that. But if you're planning on getting this card to keep for many years, which is what I assume most of you would be looking at it for, then we have to figure out whether or not these $95 annual fees are actually worth it for what you get in return. Mainly, that comes down to the multipliers and the benefits of the card. So to start, let's look at the multipliers from each of these cards. Starting with the Citi Premier card, they have a special going on, which is that through June 30th, you actually get 10x back on hotels, car rentals, and attractions booked through Citi Travel. While that may seem super impressive at first, it is worth noting that the Citi Travel Portal has a reputation for marking up prices higher than their otherwise marketed retail prices by around an average of 10%. So your mileage may vary on any given listing. The Citi price might be cheaper or more expensive than the price you'll find elsewhere, but on average, it's around 10% more expensive. And so when you're getting your 10x back there, you're really not getting 10x back because you're paying 10% more to begin with. But I guess if you already use the Citi Travel Portal, or if you find a redemption that's not marked up or not marked up by that much, then this 10x back could be pretty valuable to you. Next, there are a bunch of 3x back categories that the Citi Premier card gives you, which is that you get 3x back on restaurants, on supermarkets, at gas stations, on air travel. So that's again not booked through the Citi Travel Portal, but just air travel in general. And then hotels also booked in general, not through the Citi Travel Portal. So that's actually a really good foundation of 3x back categories. On top of that, you get 1x on all other eligible purchases. So that's pretty vanilla. That's what you expect to see. To compare that to the new Citi Strata card that's being launched, it is almost identical. There are two big differences, which is that on the Citi Strata card, it does look like the 10x back on hotels, car rentals, and attractions booked through the Citi Travel Portal will be permanent instead of just through June 30th. So that's nice to see. And then instead of getting those 3x categories on just restaurants, supermarkets, gas stations, air travel, and hotels, you also get it at EV charging stations, which is, I guess, comparable to having it for gas, so kind of getting up to date with the times. So those are two nice, albeit if you don't have an EV, relatively small changes to the multipliers. You do still get that same 1x back on everything else. And so if those are your biggest spending categories, there is a world I can see where this might even earn you more than a standard 2% cashback card, albeit those don't usually have an annual fee. So by now, we have the sign-up bonus, it goes to the Citi Strata card. The annual fee is a draw, it's a tie, but the multipliers will give the slight edge to the Citi Strata card. So that's 2 for Citi Strata and 0 for the old Citi Premier card. Now let's go on to the benefits. While there are some credit cards where the benefits really make the card, think of the Amex Platinum for example, it's clear when you look into the benefits of the Citi Premier and the Citi Strata card that the benefits are not really what you get this card for. Really the card is for all those 3x back multipliers, and that's the opposite approach from say the American Express Platinum card where the multipliers are really bad, but the benefits are actually really, really good. Right? In these cards, the benefits are not so good, but the multipliers are really, really good. That being said, there is one headline benefit here that I think they probably just added so that there's a way to get the annual fee to pay for itself if you were so inclined, is that you get $100 back on any hotel stay of $500 or more booked through the Citi Travel Portal. While that does seem really nice because $100 is more than the $95 annual fee, so you might think of it as, oh, if I spend at least $500 on a hotel at least once a year, then I can use my Citi Strata card or my Citi Premier card there and get the $100 back, and that pays for itself plus $5 from the annual fee. However, again, we said earlier, the Citi travel portal is overpriced by around 10%. So if you're paying $500 for something that might only be worth $450, right, because of a 10% markup, now what you're talking about is $100 back from something that's $50 overpriced in the first place, which is really only a $50 cost savings. So where it was a net effective annual fee of -$5 because you have a $95 annual fee and a $100 credit, if that credit's really only worth $50, once taking into account the increased prices on the Citi travel portal, then your net effective annual fee is just 95 minus 50 instead of 95 minus 100. And that's a totally different story because now the card still costs you $45 a year. And that's offered by both the Citi Strata card and the Citi Premier card. Both cards also give you unlimited free authorized users, which is nice if you want those multipliers to be earned by other members of your household without having them open their own account. But once you look at the Citi Premier, that's where it stops. The Citi Strata card actually picks up now in a spot where people were actually complaining about the Citi Premier card. Unlike the Citi Premier card, the Citi Strata card will have trip delay protection, common carrier trip cancellation and interruption protection. We don't yet know fully what that means. They'll also have lost or damaged luggage protection and car rental insurance protection. So again, if you're someone who rents cars regularly or loses luggage regularly, although you aren't able to plan so much for that, then these will be pretty valuable benefits for you. But again, your mileage totally varies here. If we have to give an edge in the benefits category to either the Citi Strata or the Citi Premier, again, just like in the multipliers, a very slight edge goes to the Citi Strata, but it's still pretty slight. The last category here is the issuer rules category. And when it comes to the issuer rules for Citi, any day now, if not by the time this video is already posted, you won't be able to get the Citi Premier anymore. On top of that, you won't be able to get the Citi Strata sign-up bonus if you've had the Citi Premier sign-up bonus or the Citi Strata sign-up bonus within the last 48 months. Lastly, Citi does have two other issuer rules that you should be aware of. They have what's called the 865 rule, where Citi will only approve you for one Citi card every 8 days and only a maximum of 2 every 65 days. And that includes both business and personal cards. So just be aware of that to make sure you're not above that rule. And lastly, there are rumors that Citi might not approve you for the Premier card. So I'm thinking this might also apply to the Strata card. If you've had more than 3 hard inquiries in the past 6 months, if you get rejected for the new Citi Strata card when that comes out any day now, right, that might be a reason why. But again, I don't think that's a reason you should hold yourself back from applying if this card does make sense for you. So in conclusion, I do think this rebrand is an upgrade, albeit a slight one, but I think Citi's doing something that we've all probably done at some point in our life, which is you wrote an essay for one class, and then you have a similar assignment for another class. So you kind of just take that same essay, improve it a little bit, make some changes for the new class, and then you turn in the same essay. It seems like that's what Citi's doing with the Premier card versus the Strata card. The rebrand aspect of it seems like a total gimmick. It's basically just a slight upgrade to an existing card that's pretty solid. It gives you a higher sign-up bonus, which is nice, but there's no telling whether or not that's going to stay or just because it's a new card and they want the application numbers to look good from day one. And then on top of that, you do have marginally better multipliers, right? They added EV charging to the gas category. It seems like they made the temporary 10x categories permanent, but again, getting 10x back on hotel and car rentals and attractions booked through the Citi travel portal doesn't mean so much if those are already 10% more expensive than they should be. And then they added the ancillary benefits of trip delay insurance, baggage insurance, car rental insurance, things of that sort. So it really is the Citi Premier card packaged slightly better with a slight update and rebranded as the Citi Strata card, mostly as a marketing gimmick. That being said, that doesn't mean that this card isn't for anyone. It is a really solid card for the multipliers. The Citi thank you points you earn are decently valuable. And also, if you're able to find a hotel booking on the Citi travel portal that's not marked up, which is definitely possible, then you can get the full $100 from that credit. Your net effective annual fee is going to be -$5. And then you're looking at a card with really good multipliers that has an effective $0 or -$5 annual fee for you. I could also see this card being really good for someone who currently has the $250 a year Amex Gold card, which gives you 4x back on groceries and 4x back on restaurants, instead of the 3x that the Citi Strata card is going to offer. However, the $250 Amex Gold cards credits are pretty hard to use, right? If you don't use Uber that much, or if you don't eat at the Cheesecake Factory or order from Grubhub, right? It can be hard to actually use the $240 a year in credits that the Amex Gold gives you. And so I could see it being very reasonable for some people to switch from the Amex Gold card to the Citi Strata card, because your 3x that you're getting on groceries and supermarkets with this card is going to be almost as valuable as your 4x. But with this card, if you can use the hotel credit well, it's basically a $0 annual fee, whereas the Amex Gold fees are actually pretty hard to offset for some people, so that could be as high as a $250 a year card for you. And then it goes without saying that while there is an elevated sign-up offer, this is a good card to get just for the sign-up bonus if that's something you're into doing. And so while this is a marketing gimmicky rebrand, right? That doesn't mean it's a bad card. It's actually a pretty decent card. This isn't a card I'm going to brag to anyone about. I would still mention the Chase Sapphire Preferred or even the Wells Fargo Autograph Journey and the Venture X before I mention this card to someone who looks for that mid-range travel credit card. But there are some people for which this card really does make sense. And so if that's you, go ahead, get it, it'll be great. And if you're wondering which cards are actually for you, right, then sign up for our waitlist at getpointwise.com and we can analyze your exact situation and let you know exactly which credit cards to get and when to get them, so you never have to watch another video like this if you don't want to.